Hello and welcome to Decisive Zone. Today we are having an amazing Olga Ayo, the founder of Citizen Concierge, that we have recently set up in Decisive Zone. How are you, Olga?
Good, thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me. So I would like to also introduce the process I've been through and also ask you for the prospects to actually enclose the process and make them familiar what they can expect. Can you guys please explain us what kind of type of residence is available in Dubai?
So we've got basically two types of residencies. One is not the regular 2-year visa, which is something that you've recently finished and completed, and congratulations.
Thank you.
But yeah, 2-year residency means that you are either employed under a company or you're self-employed, which basically means you have your license here registered and your license employs you. The second type, which is the golden visa, which is a craze everywhere. Everyone wants it, and it's very easy to get, provided that you have your documents in place. There are 4 types of categories. So you've got one, which is your salary base, anything above 30,000 AED, which you're eligible to apply. For golden visa, you've got your property visa, which is the most common. Basically, that is anything above 2 million in property. The property needs to be worth 2 million. Yeah, AED again, not USD, but yes, AED, and then again eligible to apply. Your third type is your talent or exceptional qualifications that you hold. So that could be either a doctor, exceptional student, a lawyer, influencer. As long as you have your experiences and your awards and you have like a media kit presented, you will be eligible. Of course, this is the most time consuming in terms of the processing is a little longer as compared to the rest. But yes, we have personally done and got these approved by the authorities here, so it is possible. And the fourth one is your investor or entrepreneurial, approach, which is any kind of business that you own that has been in the UAE for a certain period of time, with a profit margin of at least 2 million and above. Again, the business owners are eligible to apply.
That's amazing. Before we go back to the employment one, the 2 years one, you caught my attention with the golden visa for entrepreneurs based on the salary.
Yeah.
Could we quickly elaborate? I think it's a very niche product that will attract a lot of prospects, and then not really many applicants know about that one.
Yeah, so basically any applicant who has a salary of 30,000 or above can qualify for a golden visa. The main critical document that they need to provide is two main critical documents. One is to prove that they are getting this salary into their account. So the documents would be their 6 months personal bank statement, salaried bank statement, and their 6 months pay slips from the company, and a salary certificate proving that this is a salary that they are receiving every month. The second important document is their education certificate, which needs to be attested by the origin of the issuing country. So for example, if you have, graduated from a university in the US, you need to get your certificate attested in the US by the UAE consulate, the embassy then, and then MOFA attested here, which is Ministry of Foreign Affairs attestation done in the UAE. For applying for the golden visa specifically for this category, there is a third attestation that's required, which is called an equivalency certification. And that is basically to just check whether the university you've graduated from is accepted by the UAE here. Once you have these 2 vital documents in hand, then you're looking at a time frame of at least 2 weeks to get your visa processing done. And then you have a 10-year residency in the UAE.
That's amazing. What is approximate cost for this one?
For this, the cost is around 5,000 dirhams to get the golden visa. Of course, if you're doing it directly, this is the government cost. But with any agency, you have a service fee that is being paid, but in terms of just the government costs, you're looking at about 5,000.
Amazing. Let's go back to the employment one. I know you either going to get employed in the UAE by the local company, or you can create your own company. There are several requirements or several types of the companies you can establish. But how is the process of getting the residency itself in terms of the requirements, in terms of the time frame and the cost?
So let me break it down in terms of steps. Firstly, there are 3 types of licenses, right? You've got your mainland, your free zone, and your offshore. Offshore is for companies that like to do business outside of the UAE, not within the UAE. So again, it's very direct, niche license basically. But when you look at mainland and free zone, it allows you to do business here with it, like in the local market as well as internationally. Now let's focus further into a free zone license, which is something that is picking up in the recent years. It's something that you've done recently as well, right? The free zone license basically can be obtained remotely. So one, you don't need to be here physically to actually start the process. It takes you about 5 to 7 business days to get your license approved by the authority. That's one.
And that's a step 2 of the residency itself, based on the self-employment.
So you need to have your license registered first, an entity that is legal in the UAE, followed by registering the company in immigration, which will then allow you to sponsor yourself under the company. So when we talk about the license and the immigration registration, you're looking at 2 weeks there. Again, you're not required here. Once you get that, then there are about 5 steps to applying for the residency itself. The first step would be an entry permit, which is something the free zone would get done. We will have the application submitted to the free zone. Takes around 3 to 4 working days to get that issued. With that document, the applicant then comes into the UAE, which basically completes a change of status. So you're no longer a tourist, you're entering into a residency. And then followed by your medical test, you do a biometrics and eye scan, and then you get your residency permit, and then you get your physical Emirates ID delivered to you.
So except the 2 appointments, you actually wait on the beach, having your holiday with your family and enjoying the time in Dubai.
We really, if you really look into the process, we just need you for 1 day. If you're looking at an express VIP service, 1 day to just do a medical test and do your biometrics. And then the remaining 5 days or a week that typically most clients like to be here is either you're at the mall, you're exploring Burj Khalifa, you're going to the beach, and if you like the weather now, then
that's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that it sounds very, very difficult, but with us, with Decisive Zone, as you have experienced, it's very seamless process.
Yeah.
But we would like also to know about your business.
Well, thank you first for introducing your services into Citizen Concierge clients, and we'll be happy to introduce how the immigration in the United States is done. Unfortunately, I cannot be so enthusiastic about the smoothness and easy process in the US. It's much more complicated. But we have 2 types of main categories visas, mainly for entrepreneurs and individuals, can be divided into the non-immigrant one and the immigrant visas. It's very much depending on the need of the client, on the need of the strategy, what they are wanting to do, whether they want to move, whether they want to stay or living, what they want to do actually with their business, how they want to run it. Since the residing in the United States after getting the residency is sort of required with the 50 plus 1% of the time within the 2 years time frame. But starting with that, the very popular non-immigrant visas are the E2 visas, which are actually visas for treaty countries the United States signed the collaboration with, or other type could be talent visas that are very smooth for the extraordinary people. The E2 visas requirements, the basic is the minimum 50,000 of the investment and minimum of 50% ownership of the company. You can either buy the company that is ready for E2 or the franchise, or you can make your own company. It's a kind of strategy where you want to bring your product into the US and place it there where you receive the work permit, you can travel, you can stay in and out. It's granted for 2 years with the option to be renewed. And obviously the dependents, which is the spouse and the kids, are getting the same visas with you. Also the work permit, and kids can go to the school.
Right. And Citizen Concierge comes in and basically helps with the entire strategy of moving there and getting the residency completed.
Absolutely.
But in your experience, when we talk about the citizenship or the processing, we are aware that it's not as smooth as what UAE offers. So if you could just give us in terms of requirements and the timeline of actually getting this done.
So every visa has a very individual requirement and a different requirement. What is the most important is to have an initial call with the client and explore what are the needs and expectations from the further life on. It's literally what they expect from the life. Either they want to live there, or it's a wealth management planning for them, whether they're collecting passports, if it's a management for future generation. It really depends what they're wanting.
Yeah.
But for the non-immigrant EU visas, it's a basic. For E2, you need a 50,000, whereas the source of the funds, it needs to be approved. And also all the funds needs to be invested, actively invested. We track all of the investment because immigration loves to see putting the funds into the risk before being approved. That's the strategy of bringing and boosting the economy. With the immigrant visas, it's slightly more difficult. It's an extensive process collecting of the evidence why the applicant should be approved. But we have a great strategy for the employment base without waiving the requirement of the employer sponsor the applicant, which I think many prospects are aware of, that it's very hard to find a sponsor in the United States. This new strategy are actual with creating the own business, bringing the own business, and based on your work and career, you can be approved and get a green card as short as 1.5 years as of now.
Okay. All right.
Amazing. It was an amazing talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Olga. Yes, and that is why Decisive Zone and Citizen Concierge are expanding at each other's markets and ensuring the seamless process both in the United Arab Emirates and the United States.
Citizen Concierge is very happy for this collaboration. We are happy that we are able to actually bring the new service to the prospects all around the world. And we will be more than happy to assist all of the clients of Decisive Zones to actually expand besides the Dubai residency into the United States.
Amazing. Looking forward to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.